Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Melody Beattie. Well, what, five episodes in now, roughly.
Yeah.
And a question I really want to ask.
Yeah, go for it.
What stops people from being unhappy? Now, I've got a list of things here, and I'll repeat the question. What stops people from being happy? Right? And we've written a list, and I wrote a list also, of certain things in life that can cause unhappiness. Now, unhappiness at the end of the day is the ultimate detriment to what disallows you moving forward and can kill your creativity and hurt you as a person moving forward. I've written down this: parents, society, day-to-day life, or mediocrity, not knowing your purpose, envy, and jealousy, expectations, and bad relationships. Now I'm gonna just off the top of my head, not off the top of my head, but I'm gonna ask you a question, not a question, but I'll ask you what your perspective is on these little topics or discussions, and we'll just take it from there, guys. What's your thoughts on how society has a negative impact or an impact to your happiness?
Society is, well, in a whole realm of society. I think it's just, again, when we wake up, we hear certain things that are so negative, whether it's on the radio or news and all that sort of stuff, and that actually just triggers off something that really affects us in a very negative way, where we can become unhappy. Now, whether it's a scientist coming out on the news saying, "Oh, well, we found out this," and it could affect some people in a very negative way, make people unhappy. But I think society overall, I think it's just, when we look around, we focus on things that necessarily don't make us happy at all, and I think it's just we're focusing on the wrong things. And I think society, as well, the people, it's what we see, the billboards, the movies, the books that we read, and the things that we see go by us like a million miles an hour. It shocks us to the core, to the fact that we let society take control of ours, we become a slave to it, and I find that controls us to the point that we become unhappy. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole thing with society?
Well, I think it also, especially if we haven't developed our mindset, we can allow external influences to really impact our lives. You know, especially when it comes to society's impact, you know, like you said, you know, watching things on TV. Yeah. And what happens is we watch it, we say, "Oh, there's a massive earthquake," and then we feel for that.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't just feel for that in that moment. We take it to the next day. We speak about it to someone. Yeah. That person speaks, and we just create this massive chain of just negativeness. Yeah. That creates such a bad aura, creates such a bad imprint on ourselves and so forth, or even just the little things of you know, watching our favorite sports team or watching our favorite star on TV, that can cause that unhappiness. Now that's fine to be like, you know, my team lost, but what, for 7 days until the next game you're gonna feel unhappy? You know, and there's certain things about society, you know, the mindset of society. We see, you know, with you know, how we grew up, you know, and, you know, people going out every weekend, and there's no problem with that. But, you know, the drinking, the alcohol, you know, the drugs, the smoke, just all the things that impact. And you know what the funny thing is that people create relationships from that.
Yeah. They think they're a part of it. Now, look, when things that touch on that, people think, you know, certain things that's happening in society that we are a part of. You look at an example of when news breaks of a company shutting down. Now, they will say, "Oh, there's 500 people going to be made redundant." Now, to our eyes, we consider, "Oh, I feel so bad for that person, but thank God I've got a job. I'm going great." But let's put ourselves in their shoes. They're probably going to be so unhappy, like, because they're so stressed on how they're going to overcome this news breaking. And I think it's just when you have, you take that, you talk about it and stuff, and you pass it on. And
It's gossip, really.
It is
That's
gossip,
what it is.
But it's also in the thing of, if you think about it, it's evolutionary. Think about it, we started off small, then we grew, and get bigger. It's the same thing with that. We take something from society, like you listen to 3AW when they just constantly banter about the government, about what they've passed or what they've not passed and stuff like. And the fact is that people take it to the water cooler. It's called the water cooler conversation. They stand by and they just have a drink and they talk about something negative. And it's an evolution sort of, how to say this, circulating energy that is of negativeness that could affect other people to the point that it makes them so unhappy.
Oh, fucking oath.
It does.
You know, the funny thing is that you start a relationship, right? You're at a club or whatever, you're drinking, and you're like, I have so much in common with this person. You don't realize, of course, you have so much in common with this person. You're drunk, they're drunk, and you're talking about each other's problems. So the relationship or the friendship started with problems. It didn't start on a positive note. Hey, man, what's your... Oh, yeah. It started with, my life is so shit. Do you want to do it again next week?
Exactly. And then you start wondering, well, why am I so unhappy with this person? Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So next topic. Day-to-day life. How can that cause unhappiness? Or pretty much,
it creates boredom. I think for the person, when you go, like, sure, at this beginning, you have a set. You get up at this time, you get in the car, and you go to the freeway and all that sort of stuff, and you go, of course there's going to be traffic there, but you get to work on this time, and you think, oh great, this is, I'm having a routine, I'm being very organised. But what happens is, you keep doing it over and over and over again, it gets very boring for the person, but they take it to the point that they don't change it, they stay in that realm of day-to-day basis, and then they just get very unhappy about it. They think they can't change it. They think, well, that's what I'm stuck with. And that's what creates people to be very miserable in their life and to stick to just being there.
Of course, that's going to cause depression, anxiety, all those things that are going to negatively impact our life. And in order for us to prosper, we need to be able to change it, because I believe all human, we need some sort of drama in our life.
Of course.
Some sort of drama is good. You need that adventure. A lot of people will go to work and then go home and that's it. Whereas for us, it's like, oh, we'll play soccer, or we'll do podcast, or we'll do this, or we'll do that.
You change
yes,
it
we do the regular shit every day, but we always add something to it.
Exactly.
Whereas a lot of people don't, and they don't.
It's sort of that straight line mentality where they don't want anything else to come and disrupt it. They don't want anything to come and make anything disorganized. But that's the beauty of it. That's where variety comes in. That's one of the core needs. Exactly. And things have a bit of variety into it where, okay, well, I've done this all day, I want to go do something else. Sort of, it catches you off guard and gets you becoming a very adventurous person. So,
well, that's why the people resort to drugs, alcohol, and all that on the weekends, because they need some sort of kick, but they need some sort of escape from their miserable life. But people don't want to change it because they're so comfortable. I made a...
Look, you think about that as well. Like, if you look at the drug aspect of it as well, I think when it comes to that, they don't want their straight line mentality of day-to-day basis of, keeping, no, I have to do this, and I have to do this. They don't want to be disorganized, but it's more of they don't want to lose control.
Of course.
Of what
that's why you take drugs. That's because you want to gain control.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Next topic. So we've spoken about society, day-to-day life, envy. How can, being in right, and jealous of someone else's success. Yeah. How does that make you unhappy?
Well, you can start off with this one, man, because I think this is one that you really wanted to talk about, especially when it comes to being envious of someone else's success.
Well, I've seen it with people. So whether it's not me personally or family, but I've seen it through other people's eyes, and try to put myself in their shoes where one family member becomes more successful than the other family member.
Yes.
And it causes such friction and such, not more friction. It causes absolute chaos within the hierarchy or the the ladder of the chain, or the chain of command, or not so much the command. You know, the family member, it's the older brother or the older sister does better than the younger one, and so forth, or the middle one does better than both, or the younger one does better than everyone else in the whole family. And it's like, you know, in our culture, it happens a lot where that jealousy comes into play because, like we said in other videos, we need to be in control. We need to have, we need to understand everything. We can't just accept things the way they are, which is fine when your back's against the wall. But when it's your family member or someone else,
whether it's pretty much blood, and the fact is that it's a great thing as well, because it creates a lot of disconnect as well, especially in the family, and because you don't want to have that, especially in families, when it comes to the other person being, you know, more successful than you, because you know deep down it'll create more jealousy in you. But then you'll go to the absolute end to make sure that the family supports you and they don't support the other person.
Of course, it becomes one-sided, and it becomes narrow-minded, where you pretty much hate that person because they become successful, and then you start spreading shit about your own family, and it causes unhappiness because you get caught up in that bullshit, or you look at someone else and say, how did they get there and I can't get there?
I've worked harder
than this person. It's like, wait a minute, so you have that fear of not belonging, or the fear of missing out, you know, so it really, really affects you, and especially if you're on the road to a better life, you can't measure yourself on other people, which leads to my next thing.
Well, actually, before we get to the next thing, the thing is, with the envious part, especially when you see people who are, you know, far more successful than you, you've got to understand that they're exactly the same as you and me.
Of course,
because people, sure, they might have a bigger bank account, they might have the house and the car, like we discussed with the other video with Thinking Big.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you gotta understand that they're exactly the same as you. They've just got a different mindset.
Yeah.
And what people...
The way they perceive the world is completely different. You see, that person sees the world as, the world's out to get me, when the other person is, I'm here for the world.
For the world, exactly.
To give back to the world.
And the thing is, what I started to practice on, especially if I saw someone who was far more successful than me, I wouldn't basically disconnect myself and say, you know what, I don't want to know nothing from this person. I would go up to them and go, how do you do it?
Yeah,
ask
questions. I ask questions all the time. Mate, how did you do this? Like, when I started the gaming thing with streaming, I asked every Twitch person, look, sorry to bother you, but how did you do this, and this? You know, and
the thing is, these people have had more views than you. These people have gained a lot of money from YouTube, and you're starting off. Now, you're not coming out as being a hotshot thinking, I'll wing it.
Yeah, no way.
No, you go out there and you ask questions, and also you are so happy for them reaching success.
Of course,
you know in your right mind that, you know what,
I basically promote them all the time. A few Aussie gamers, I absolutely promote them because it's like, well done, dude. There's not many of us doing it, so come on, let's do it. You know,
together, exactly. Right.
Which means, so the next topic, how does having expectations or putting expectations affect a person's life? How does it create unhappiness?
It creates unhappiness because the fact is, like we discussed again with the Thinking Big, and it was one topic I wanted to go in more depth of, is the expectation where we exceed, or we have a very a grandest goal sort of thing, where it's way out of our league, and the fact is that we expect it to hit it. Like, you look at certain people out in the day, they think, I'll become an overnight success by working one day, and I'll get it the next day. And the thing is, it doesn't work like that. And when they have a high expectation like that, they get very disappointed, and they get very unhappy, where it's more of the point, don't look how far you've got to go, look how far you've come when it comes to that. And people have got to start realising that you've got to look back and see what you've gone through and where you can go to next. But people don't see that, and that's what leads to unhappiness, where they have a very high expectation in a short amount of time, and yet when they don't reach it, they think, well, I'm pretty much done, I'm useless.
And we put another thing is, we put expectations on family and friends, loved ones, relationships and work, and never ever put your mindset onto someone else's mindset. Don't expect what you can do that they can do.
Oh my god, that is a great thing you just brought up, because I've always realised that when you expect someone else to be a certain way or a certain person, and they don't,
they always prove you wrong.
Exactly. That person who set that expectation on the other person gets very unhappy. Why? Is because they had an image in their mind of how you should be.
Of course.
And how should everything else be. But when they don't get it, they go, I don't understand. This is what I wanted. But sometimes life throws you a curveball. You've got to deal with it.
Well, it happened with me when I started off as apprentice mechanic.
Yeah.
They had high expectations of me.
Of course.
Of course, I was very enthusiastic, wanted to learn. But I was just too young. I was too young, dumb, and full of cum. I was immature, right? I was way too immature. I didn't understand the concept of work or money or anything like that. I just didn't understand it. I didn't jerry what it meant. I was too busy with girls and and all this other stuff that I wanted as a kid. So, and of course they got pissed off, and then I got pissed off because it's like, oh, why'd you fire me? Oh, why did this happen? So,
and the thing is, especially with work, and anyone who is listening to this, which I know you are, you know, if you want to, with the expectations with work, so for instance, you go for a job interview, and there's a company out there who basically will hire you, but they have expectations of yourself. I've always told people around me, over-exceed it. Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to keep you more on than any other person. Why? Is because you've not only met that expectation and stopped, you've met that and go, how can I make it better? How can I do even better than that for myself? And then when people think that you're more valuable than the hourly rate you're getting,
of course,
people are going to keep you.
Of course. Well, that's the thing is that I always promise less. And then exceed the expectation. I never ever say, well, this is what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah.
You know, I could have gone into a certain job after I left one company and said, no, I should demand this, this, and this. Just stuff. Just give me this. Yeah. Then I'll exceed it.
And never make and that promise thing as well. And anyone listening, I'm going to give you a quick piece of advice. Never ever promise anything. The thing is, because if you promise something and you don't deliver,
you're going to look bad on that. And then you're going to be very unhappy, and then you're going to think, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good enough, and so forth. It happened with me with the gaming. I wanted this, realised now, well, what I'm at is here, so it's like, wait a minute, let's start again. But you have to communicate that. A lot of people don't. They'll sit there and then fucking pinpoint everything wrong with another person. And that's why expectations are so wrong, is because you put that expectation, then you say, well, they're not doing this, this, and this. This is why you're a shit person. And then you make that person feel bad. And remember, you're spreading that negativity in society. You're spreading that bullshit around.
Exactly.
Because energy travels. We all know that. It's scientifically proven.
Yeah, it is. It's very true.
That's why it's very important.
Yeah.
To never ever put expectations on yourself and other people. You, coming from me, I know that. I want to live here, but I have to understand that I have to just climb up the ladder. Just slowly get up on top of that roof.
Exactly.
I'll get there, but I have to just relax.
And Tony Robbins even quoted about expectations. He goes, see the situation as it is, but not worse than it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Next question. How does having been in bad relationships affect the person's happiness?
When it comes to being in a bad relationship, I think when it affects a person's happiness is when you've done so much for them in order to receive love that when that, again, it's expectation. When you don't get that from the other person, you feel let down. You feel that I'm doing something wrong, and then what happens is, when you expect something from them, they don't deliver. You get very unhappy in your own sense that, well, I've done this for them, I've taken them out, I've done dinner, I've done all this stuff, and
not getting anything in return.
Not getting in return. And the thing is, with love, I've always told anyone in a relationship, it takes two to tango.
Oh, well, my thing is still practice to this day with Jasmine. Love someone the way they want to be loved, not the way that you want to be loved.
Exactly.
Because you can't put your bullshit onto someone else just because when we do that, when we're in a relationship, whether it's friends also, like cutting the right people out and keeping the right people in. Because we want to make people happy. We want to make sure that they're okay and this person's okay. That impacts our life tremendously because we just always are behind. And when we put the expectation, like we were saying before with the other topic, when we don't love someone the way they want to be loved, we bring our insecurities into play, which instead of growing as a couple or growing as a friendship, or a business partnership, whatever, what we're really doing is saying, I want it my way,
not
your way doesn't work.
I
want you to love me, instead of saying, but I love you. That's why the problem is that we don't say, I love you. What we're trying to really say is, I love you, but I want you to say it back to me, so I know that you love me.
So you know you're on the same level.
Of course.
And the thing is, I was speaking to certain people at work about this, especially when it comes to relationships, and I've always told them, I go, don't ever rely on someone else to give you love in that sort of sense. Now, it might seem a bit harsh in a way, but I want you to understand that the reason you're in a relationship because you've loved yourself so much, you've expressed it, and guess what? Someone that you've attracted into your life, like you and Jasmine, or me and Katerina. And the fact is that we have expressed our joy for life, and we have loved life altogether, and they see that.
Yeah.
There's people out there who they want someone to give them that love, but what's happening in that sense is not only they're giving you energy to you, which is fair enough, but they're losing energy by not giving themselves
it's like a battery.
love. Yeah,
it's just a one-way street. The battery's just
going
on the remote control until it dies out, and that's it. And then you got to get a new one.
Yeah,
and then buy those rechargeable ones.
Exactly.
It's only so much you can recharge.
Exactly.
As we move on, as we narrow it down, as we get to the later stages of this video, how does parents how can parents, I don't know how to word this right now without, how do parents have a negative impact or an impact on our happiness?
Great question. We're talking.
Yeah, because we're dead after this.
Yeah, we're dead after this. So yeah, to our parents, we're sorry. But again, this is yeah. I'm sorry. But this is real talk. So again, I'm just gonna say it. But
we're keeping 100. Put respect on my name.
With parents, I think how it affects our happiness as well is because they want us to be a certain person. As being the older sibling and my sister being younger, of course, the thing is my parents had a very high expectation of myself, and there was a lot of pressure. And the fact is that, of course, growing up, you would always want their approval in so many ways, but also you want their happiness by what you want to do for them in a way that whatever you're doing it in order to make them happy. But deep down, it's making you very unhappy if you're meeting their expectations again, the topic before. And the fact is that when we're doing things just only for them, we're leaving ourselves out.
Of course. But that's the thing with everything, isn't it, really? If you do things just for others, it's good to give, but you need time to yourself to be happy. You do need your own time. To add to that, I've seen it happen before. I've seen parents not let their kids out. No, you got to go to school. They get the PhD, and then they stick it to their parents and go, fuck it, I'm being a taxi driver. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it on many occasions. Parents want their kids to be a certain way. I'm not a parent, but I am a child.
Yeah.
I am someone's son.
Yeah.
That means I know how the situation works. You can teach your kids values, morals, respect, and discipline, but you can't teach them on what they want to do with their life, or how to live their life, what they should do with life. You can be there as guidance, but you can't tell a child, no, you have to go do this, because you need to go do this, because I need my peers to accept me. The whole thing of, I want my kids to have a better life than me, is bullshit right now. It was different in our situation where our grandparents came, raised our parents. That's a different story, because they had nothing, so they put everything into their children, which is fair enough. But then it just got worse after generation. No, you have to be this. You have to be a doctor, right? You have to be a doctor so you can be respected. So what? Being an entrepreneur means you're not going to be respected.
Exactly.
Having a normal job, not being respected. Being a taxi driver. What are you trying to say? That you're not going to be a respected person? Is it all about respect?
And the thing is, it's also with the parents. I feel that if we do something that's out of their norm. I did it with my university course. I did something that I wanted to do for myself, and it sort of shocked them to the core. But the fact is, I was doing it, for my own happiness. I wanted to do it for my own well-being. And the thing is, what I've found with certain parents is that they don't want to be left disappointed by growing up their son or daughter. They don't want them to be on the streets. Of course, our parents want the best for us, and I understand that. But when parents take control of every little thing that you do, you're not letting your kids grow to the sense of them, finding their own feet. And if they fall, let them fall.
Making them marry
a certain someone because the religion.
Because you're Greek and they're Greek, they have to be married. No, what the hell?
No.
I'm with an Arab. My uncle married an Italian. My mum was with an Italian. Things like that.
Yeah, of course.
Just like my family is probably the what's it called, the exception to the rule, because we've been more accepting. All my cousins, one's with Italian, the other one's with Aussies. What's the big deal? There's no big deal. Let your kids live the life that they want. If they want to go do that, that's a different story.
Now the thing is, if they get out of line to the point they go down the road of alcoholism, drugs, and all that sort of stuff, of course, that's when
step in and take control.
Of it.
Of course, you have to
and help them. But the thing is, don't control them to the point that I've spoken to certain kids where their parents, I've got to ask my parents first. Like, you're at an age now that, sure, when
make
you're 17,
your own decisions, because then you won't make decisions later on, because then you just
keep relying on them.
Relying on everybody else to make a decision. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this?
And the thing is, when it comes to should I do this or should I do that?
It's a vicious circle.
It is a vicious cycle and circle as well. And the thing is, that's perfectly fine. With the cycle, as well as what happens is, when you want to do things, in the back of your mind, you're like, I want to do this so I don't disappoint my mum and dad.
Of course.
No, you do things for your own well-being, because guess what? Whatever life you're going to live, you're living it, not your parents. And the thing is, they will come around to the point, they'll start accepting for who you are and what you've grown yourself up to be.
Of course.
And that's it.
Beautiful. Last topic. The big one. Circling it like 100 times here. Alright? How does not having a life purpose or finding your purpose in this world cause unhappiness?
It comes down to the point that when I found, well, actually with this certain topic, it's a very serious one, because what I found in my life and anyone else's life is that people have always wanted to strive to be happy, and I agreed with that, and I was going around thinking, well, that's what I've always wanted. But I know I found something when it comes to your self-purpose in this life, and what I found was there's one more thing that's higher than happiness, and that's fulfillment. And the thing is, when we aren't fulfilled in a certain thing, when we don't have a purpose that we can be fulfilled in and we can leave a legacy behind, it goes down to the downward spiral of being very unhappy that we haven't found a purpose in life, and that we know that if we get older by age and we haven't left our mark in this world, then that's it.
Well, for me, it's you're born into this world. You've been created. Now, whatever your beliefs are, that's on you. Whether it's God, whatever it is, however you were born, right? You're not just here to add as a number. You're not just a number. We're part of this earth. We're part of this universe. We're here to help the earth grow. And I'm not going on some green
movement sort of talk.
Yeah. What I'm saying is really real here. You have one life to live. Now, whether you believe in afterlife or not, it doesn't make a difference. You live on this earth once and once only. Whether you're reincarnated or not, it's still something different to what you are. You as a human being live once. We all have genius inside of us. We all have greatness inside of us. We all have something that can make us change and shape the world for the future, for the better, for the next generation. The problem is most people will sit back and say, fuck it, let someone else do it, instead of sitting there and saying, no, I'm going to take control and actually change the world. Make something happen in order to make it better. You want the situation to be better? Fucking change it.
Exactly.
You want a better job? Quit that one. Get another one. Get the job you want to be in. You want a better relationship? Fucking leave the person you're with and get into that relationship that you want to be with.
That's it.
That's what's more important.
That's it.
So guys, on that note, thank you, and tune in next week for episode 6, I think. I think it might be 6 or 7.
I think 7.
7 or 6. I don't know which one it is.